I would say that a success factor of any reporting project is having the backing of the organization, and especially from the management and the highest governing body, because it is going to affect each and every function of an organization.
On the daily operational work, try to decrease your burden as much as you can, and the digital solution definitely can help.
A company can take many routes to get to non-financial reporting and all the data that we have been talking about so far. And it can be the very manual labor, it can be through an advisor, it can be through internal resources. At the end of the day, it will be hard and it will require resources, and a digital tool can be an accelerator to really make these processes more efficient.
Welcome everyone, this is Deloitte Hungary's Riskrespond podcast channel, and today we are going to discuss some very interesting and extremely relevant topics, which is the use of technology and digital tools in non-financial reporting, such as sustainability, ESG and so on. And in today's episode we are going to speak in English because of one of our guests, Christoph Mayr. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. You are currently the head of sales DACH and CEE at Greenomy, and prior to this you gained experience in several roles at the interface of finance, technology, manufacturing, and so on. And your professional journey also includes various roles at Thomson Reuters, investment banking, and private equity. And not to mention, we have a fun fact here that you started your professional journey at Deloitte as an audit assistant, right?
Right, that's true.
Yeah, that's cool. And as well, we have here Réka Szűcs. Réka is currently our leader in Hungary of the Hungarian Sustainability and Climate Change service line, focusing on corporate ESG transformation. Thank you very much, Réka, for your attendance as well.
Happy to be here.
And first things first, so let's talk about a little bit of the regulatory landscape for non-financial reporting obligations in relation to sustainability reporting in Hungary. What are the current practices? What are the key changes? What can we know?
It's a very interesting topic, as you just said, and I think it is a hot topic at the moment because more and more companies are falling in the scope of legislation and EU legislation, which applies directly to everyone in the European Union. And these large companies are at the forefront of reporting on their non-financial performance, really having to gather this data on ESG. This is the CSRD directive that I'm talking about, so the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive that introduced a new standard for these data to be collected and reported. But besides that, we're not just with this one reporting standard and obligation. There's the EU taxonomy that also put a lot of obligations on many actors in this area, but the SFDR as well. So it all started with the financial institutions being obligated to report on non-financial performance, and then it trickled down, and now it is at large enterprises. So nobody is really alone in this, and they don't get away from the non-financial reporting. So it does provide us with a lot of obligations.
Mm-hmm. And deadlines and so forth.
And how many Hungarian companies are in scope for this?
Yeah, quite a few. It is going to be a big change for Hungarian companies because the previous EU directive, the non-financial reporting directive, did cover quite a lot of companies, but in Hungary it was taken into the Act on Accounting, and it only applied to a smaller scope of companies. But now it has been extended, so it is reaching several hundred companies.
And what is the process of writing a sustainability report?
So sustainability report at the end of the day starts with certain assessments, of course, and for that reason you need to know well the regulation. And first is, of course, the eligibility, that you're falling under the taxonomy. Then you have an alignment, that would be the part of the taxonomy on the CSRD, which is the upcoming regulation now and touching a lot of Hungarian companies. And in total, we speak about 50,000 companies in Europe. You start with a double materiality assessment, for example, where Deloitte, for example, is doing business and giving support to companies. And those are the first steps where you then move into, I would say, a better assessment, the visibility, and what you need to do on the regulation.
And what are the key changes of this writing the report?
Indeed, one of the reasons why we're talking is that data gathering is the first challenge and the first hurdle that every company has to go through. We have been discussing it with various clients, and one of them said that it is like giving birth to a child. It takes 9 months to really do it for the very first time, to start gathering data, to conduct a materiality assessment, to identify those topics that you want to talk about, and then to have an actual report present. And with the CSRD, it's not enough to gather this data and put it into a report. You have to have external assurance on it as well. And I think this is one of the key challenges, that it's not just the data that you have to obtain somewhere within your organization, have to put it in a format that can be easily understandable for everybody, but it has to be correct.
Yeah, and maybe to add here is the regulation itself has certain, I would say, topics where it needs to be machine readable. There need to be certain data tagging. So it's in a certain way, part of it are quite, I would say, digital friendly, supporting innovation also in this direction. I guess we will talk a little bit about this topic then.
Yeah, so how can technology help? So can you give us an overview of digital tools that can help boost auditable reporting?
I mean, first of all, I'm here because we do provide a solution, a digital solution for the market, born out of, I would say, the Brussels ecosystem and a lot of knowledge in relation to the regulation and the digital aspect of the regulation. And of course, a solution itself can solve a lot of complexity. And you have the data, you need to gather the data, you need to put the data into one place, you need to collaborate. Yeah, there's a certain complexity because those data are normally spread over different departments, especially in large corporates, and you need somewhere to integrate or to centralize the data. Yeah, so that's the internal aspect of collaborating, bringing people together. That's one aspect. Yeah, but if you look at different other topics, there is the willingness from the European Commission to include the corporates and the financial market, SFRD and the CSRD regulation on both sides, building the bridge between the two worlds, the corporate world and the financial world. Yeah? And this aspect is bridging that and connecting different players and stakeholders on the market, not only the internal ones in a corporate, but also the external stakeholders, meaning, for example, the investors, the buy side, the banks, and the corporates.
Digitalization can support companies in meeting the deadlines and fulfilling the assurance obligations too?
Yes, they are. And that's one of the big advantages of having a central and a digitalized system of gathering this data and also collaborating on the data, because it can be traceable. So there is evidence of how that data came to be, who was the person who checked it, and what were the other components, and how it really materialized and where it came from, so it can support the audit process as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Fully agree. The audit process is a aspect where you need logs. Yeah, you need to understand who has worked on the system. Yeah, a certain, I would say, quality check and a certain assurance would be there. Yeah, so that the system itself is a secure environment. Yeah, where you know what has happened to the data, where the data are coming from. So this traceability, as you said before, and the possibility to check the reports quite quickly is a tremendous, I would say, reduction in effort also for a company. Yeah, because on the other side, you would need to reach out to each single person, and the auditor would have a tremendous work to do that. And then you don't even have maybe the quality assured at the end of the day, because you can just do samples here and there. And in one centralized place, of course, it's an easier task, and it would give also valuable information to the company. Yeah? Don't forget that there are 3,800 data points in, for example, in our solution. This data model is broad and large. Yeah? You can do a lot of analytics and assessment, and you will, as a corporate or as a bank or whoever, understand where the challenges are for you, where are those where you would have like these brown investments or the big pollution activities. For a bank, it's an opportunity to understand better from the corporate where they can go into the market, yeah, where there would be a need for an investment, a financing, for example. Yeah. And the investors, of course, do the same. Yeah. They would invest into, I would say, green or brown investment, and they would have a clear picture where they invest to. Yeah. So bring everybody together and having a clear understanding, I would say, on the regulation. Is not only the regulation, the mandatory reporting, but there's a chance behind also to do much more of an analysis and analytics out of this centralized platform. Yeah.
And maybe another advantage that we haven't mentioned yet is the automated aspect of it. So there is already digital data that would be necessary for non-financial reporting as well. So a lot of lot of data is already in this format, so it can be linked, it can be automated, it can really make it more efficient to gather this data and make analytics of it that can support decision making.
We have heard that there are several crucial reporting obligations. How are these connected?
Well, as I think I mentioned at the very, very beginning, that the whole push on this non-financial reporting at the moment came from the financial institutions. They first had to start gathering data on their portfolios and disclose what was the ratio of green assets compared to the full portfolio, and slowly these need is trickled down. So there is an inherent need for these financial institutions to report, and then the companies who are in contact with these financial institutions to provide this reporting. Besides that, there, of course, some of them are already also obligated to disclose on their own performance. And as Christoph mentioned, it can be one of the connection points is the investment and the financing side. So most of the financial institutions are already conscious of this and are looking for those investment opportunities that do have this type of responsibility.
Yeah. And maybe to bring the words for, I guess it was from Ursula von der Leyen saying, okay, don't take this as a burden from the European Commission. Take it as a chance. Because what we are gathering, what we are doing at the moment is assessing, I would say, the values in a different way. Sustainability values, sustainability data, information. And out of that, you would get a clear understanding what is harmful to the environment, what is not harmful, would give a clear guidance to the companies and clear guidance of where to invest. It would create new markets, new chances, new opportunities. And that's definitely there. And how it is interlinked, because there's a bank, they have a clear understanding of the corporate. The corporate itself has a clear understanding what he's doing and where he has basically done harm to the environment. Let's put it like this. They would get a clear picture and they would then agree how to move forward and move into a different direction, which is good for everybody at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. I see. And can you please elaborate that? What does a company need to do to start its non-financial reporting journey?
I think the easiest way to start is finding the data within the organization.
That's the first topic, absolutely. Yeah. The data gap assessment also in our on our approach, and I guess we are fully agreed here. Yeah, the first approach is that you have somebody who is an expert in the field. Deloitte, we have our expertise. We go together there and we analyze the templates and say, okay, what is missing? There are not all the data are there, not in a bank and not in a corporate. So there's a lot of adjustments to do, then the data gaps to fill, which are necessary to really go into a sustainable, I would say, direction. That's the first one. Then you can start to leverage this data.
And what do you think are the critical success factors of a digital solutions implementation?
You want to start? I mean, expertise, yeah?
Yeah, maybe I would go one step back because there was this question that relates to how to start, and we have started from the data, and now having this other hat on, I think it's also important to check the willingness within the organization and start with the training aspect of it, and it also goes to the digital tools as well. So there should be a need within the organization and a need to address something that is going on, because it's no doubt it is a compliance question. So it is coming. It doesn't matter what we're doing against it. It is needed, but how we are approaching it can have real impact on how successful it will be. So I would say that a success factor of any reporting project is having the backing of the organization, and especially from the management and the highest governing body, because it is going to affect each and every function of an organization. So it will be a complete transformational project if it is done for the first time. So there should be this buy-in from all the relevant stakeholders.
Fully agree. I mean, I have seen it in real terms that a large corporate has hired an ESG officer, and we talk, and he believes that the digital solution, for example, would make sense from the beginning on, to be much efficient and productive and get a better understanding of the regulation. And then the second step is already like, but I need to raise awareness in my company to spend money on a certain aspect of a digital solution and so forth. And then we deliver data, of course, we deliver expertise, and to raise awareness means that the people, and you build a team, you have much more collaboration within the team, yeah, so that you build a great team at the beginning. Of course, you need to understand where the regulation is going, yeah. So expertise like from Deloitte would be helpful at the beginning to move into the first steps. You have a clear understanding who to bring in from your company, who has expertise in certain different areas. Yeah, you build teams, you build processes. You try to that everybody has the same awareness, yeah, and is looking forward to do that on the project, and you bring a team together, and then it's collaboration. Yeah? And a digital tool can support this collaboration. Yeah? So why is this important to have the team mapped? Because what the first thing you do in a digital tool is you map the different profiles and the different people. Everybody gets a login, everybody gets a certain task. Yeah, everything is defined in the solution, and therefore you need this team, yeah? And this awareness, and then it's moving on. Yeah?
Yes, I think it's very important to look at, because this is what we have been talking about before this discussion. I think we can share this background info that we can, or a company can take many routes to get to non-financial reporting and all the data that we have been talking about and so far. And it can be the very manual labor. It can be through an advisor. It can be through internal resources. At the end of the day, it will be hard and it will require resources. And a digital tool can be an accelerator to really make these processes more efficient. It may not seem that it's free, or it would really alleviate any resource burden from a company, but I think it's very important to understand that it is an accelerator, that it can address those pain points that are within a project management structure, and that we do see during these reporting processes, and then it just makes it more efficient and effective.
Yeah, the regulation is not stopping, right? So it's upcoming. There are more companies coming in. There is the discussion about different frameworks, interoperability between different frameworks, like the ISSB upcoming, the GRI, for example, the Green Bond standards for the financial sector, the CBI framework, and so. And then, this thing is starting to grow and grow and grow, and getting more and more complex, and need to collect more and more data, and there's more and more people involved. And then if you don't have these well-organized structures, it could be that it's going to be a really big burden in the future. Yeah? So start there, grow it, use technology to support you. In the technology, you have the support on the one side from an advisor like Deloitte. On the other side, you have a digital solution where there's a lot of information in the solution. There's a clear guidance for the workflow in the solution. It makes your life easier. There's a lot of filtering and so forth. And then hopefully, at a certain point in time, you have a certain degree of autonomous work done within your company. And for the really big questions and the strategic questions, you still reach out to some consultant. But on the daily operational work, try to decrease your burden as much as you can. And the digital solution definitely can help around a good team, well structured, with the right profiles and the right responsibilities.
What would be your main message to leaders who are starting this digital journey?
I mean, first of all, I would say that the data and the data in a platform or the data itself is a decisive help for the next, I would say, years even, to set the right priorities in your companies. And of course, then, I mean, that's the main game, is to make a substantial contribution to the Green Deal. That's the main aim, yeah. So it's not only a reporting exercise, and that's my message to any decision leader. It's a contribution to a sustainable future, yeah? And that it should be made clear within an organization, so raising up the culture, the understanding of the awareness within a corporate culture. That's an important topic for a manager, and this money is carefully invested money for the future.
I couldn't agree more. I think it's very important to keep in mind that we're all in this for the same reason, and sustainability is the word that we're using, and responsibility is the word that we're using for a reason. And ESG may be a new acronym, and digitalization might be a hot topic that we're talking about, but these are concepts that had been there from the very start in a company, and it wouldn't be efficient, or it wouldn't make sense to use it as an island. It does have to be integrated into a general business approach and the business model. So it should be an integral part of any company's journey.
Reka, Christoph, thank you very much for attending today. It was very, very interesting and very, very useful for me. And I really hope that it was extremely useful for our viewers as well. Please stay tuned for the next chapter and next episode of Riskrespond.